Okay, so now I'm going to talk about what a family and a marriage where the wife is very good at extending philia love towards her husband and children, what that's going to look like, what kind of a family life that's going to look like. Um, First of all, when your kids come down in the morning, when your husband comes down in the morning, the first time you see these people, you are going to smile and you're going to say, "Hi, good morning. How did you sleep? Oh, I love you." And you're going to give your husband a little kiss on the cheeks or the lips, just a little one. You're going to be happy to see them. Even if you're not happy to see them, it's fine. Fake it till you make it. Honestly, just fake it till you make it. You might not actually feel this sort of friendly attitude towards them. It doesn't matter. I don't care how you feel. Okay. Acknowledge how you feel, offer up how you feel, and then act with virtue. Okay. So you see these people, every interaction needs to be more positive than it is negative. And so what you're going to do is you're going to keep track of the way that you actually interact with your husband in all moments of the day and your children. And you're going to maybe even record that and see where there could be holes in this. Okay. But in a happy family, the kids come downstairs in the morning. Mom is in a good mood. Mom is sweet. Mom is not crabby. She's not laying in bed. She's already awake. She's ready for the day. Get up before your kids get up. You get yourself showered. You get yourself in the proper place to be a giving and loving mom who is present to your children and to your husband. So that means you need to take that time for yourself for restoration, rest and restoration in the morning. Prayer, scripture, whatever. We've talked about this, okay? So, and this family also, and this is kind of in mom's wheelhouse. This mom who is good at philia, that understands how to have a Christian and happy home, she understands the right ordering of life. There is such a thing as order as a virtue. And a lot of people think that means putting items in their place, but that's part of it. But it actually is ordering importance. So the most important thing in our family life, obviously, is God and charity, and that kind of extends down. And we need to teach our children, the faith. But after that, in my opinion, this sort of jovial family atmosphere is the next most important thing behind teaching children religious faith. And it backs up teaching your children the faith. Because if your children are growing up in a household with a crabby mom and parents that fight all the time and don't like each other, they're very unlikely to, they're not necessarily very unlikely, but they're less likely, I think, to remain Catholic as they get older. And the reason is because they will associate their childhood, which was a Catholic upbringing or a Christian upbringing, with negativity. If your home was basically happy and cheerful, and you and your husband liked each other and were kind to each other, your children are much more likely to grow up to be Christian or Catholic. Okay. So please really do consider that, because it's of the utmost importance that this is the way that your family life should be. Okay. A mother that is adept at this also, so she places this at the top, right? This is after religious affiliation and religious devotion to God. And the next is cultivating this cheerful household, this household where people are friends with each other, that they like each other, they do things together, family game nights, they go on trips, or not trips necessarily, but they do fun activities together. They, when it's time to clean up the house, mom puts on music and all the kids dance around while they're trying to clean up their toys. They have a family culture of friendship. And so they share activities, in the household. So they read together, they read scripture together, they do fun things together as a family. They're developing a culture. They have inside jokes. They have little traditions that their own family has that the children will remember that are unique to their family. Okay, so that's kind of what this is going to look like. And one thing too, I would suggest that people do is carve out your entire year. Look at a calendar and figure out what you're going to do for the entire year. So look at all the festivals and stuff in your area and all the fun things that you could do. It doesn't need to be expensive, but there's always these like little attractions around that we can go explore. There's these random museums that are often free. Like there was this one not near my house, but it's about 2 hours away that I took my kids to once. And it was the John Deere Factory Museum, which turned out to be like one of the most awesome places I've ever been. It's in Dixon, Illinois, or outside of Dixon, Illinois. And, they have a blacksmith and they have all of this interesting stuff about John Deere and, all the things that he did. He invented a really fancy plow, This is not about John Deere, but anyway, there's all this cool stuff and it was free and we like brought a picnic. And so things like this that you kind of up your family life and up the dynamics of your family. It's important. So do pay attention to like what you can do as a family and get it on the calendar. Because if you don't, then the weekend's going to roll around and you're going to have a bunch of stuff that you have to do that's boring. And then you're not going to have these fun things with your family. I would also say, like, make sure you carve out dates with your husband. I'm really bad about that. So is my husband. We're just terrible about this stuff. But make sure you carve out time, like, alone with your spouse to have, to have like time to think and time to talk and time to develop a friendship with your spouse. A mom that is a master of this also knows that the overall atmosphere and happiness of her home matters more than its cleanliness or the organization of the home or kids' activities or school. What I mean by this is I see a lot of moms who put a huge amount of energy and emotional energy and physical energy into making sure their houses are perfectly clean, making sure all of, they're very organized, that the children's clothes are all organized, that all their toys are organized, that the children get to soccer practice, that the children go to church on time, that the children look presentable, that they do well in school, that they have all their homework done, that they eat these wonderful home-cooked meals, and then they're a raging bee with an itch. Okay. If you can do all of those things and still be a sweet and loving mom and not an anxious wreck, good for you. That's awesome. You're amazing. Hats off. Okay. But if you're putting any of those above the importance of a lighthearted, fun, and sweet mother, then you're not ordering your household properly. So do pay attention to this, okay? Because this is of the utmost importance. So the right ordering of your home, again, religious affiliation, and then a jovial and cheerful and kind Christian atmosphere is at the very top of that. And if getting your kids to school on time or making sure their uniforms are washed or any of these things are making you really crabby, figure out a way perhaps why that is something that is like super stressful for you. And you could have holes in your day where you're maybe wasting time and where you could be doing this stuff. Or it could be that what I see more is that you're not actually taking time to rest and get proper restoration. We have a Sabbath day for a reason. God expects us to rest. There's a time for everything. There's a time to work and there's a time to rest. In our modern culture, often rest looks like sitting on your iPhone reading social media, which is not rest. I'm guilty of this too, but it's not rest. That's not restorative. And when I say rest, I mean something that is like actually going to make you feel better. Walking, taking a bath, reading scripture, praying, doing something you enjoy. Okay, so if you're taking the time in your day where you have a solid block where you get to do these things, then it will be easier for you to get done the things that you're obligated to do as a mother without getting super stressed out and crabby about it. Okay. So, I think that kind of sums up everything that I wanted to say about this. I mean, I have a million things to say about this, but, in a happy, jovial household, like the overall culture is, in a good Christian home, like the overall culture is what is going to matter the most for your children and their spiritual development, and also for your marriage, I think. And so, your attitude is extremely important as a woman. And I sometimes I wish it wasn't, because like men can be super crabby in a marriage and nobody really cares. Like my husband can be crabby and like nobody cares. Like he can just get like in a mood and he's just, and it's like nobody notices. But if I do that, my children are like, oh, mom's in a bad mood. Whereas like if my husband gets angry, the kids are like, ah, but if I get angry, the kids are like, whatever, who cares? Mom's angry, So, but it is, which is probably why St. Paul instructs men to be restrained in their behavior. That's actually kind of funny. Maybe I should make a video about that. I don't know. But it is, women are called to do this. And I'm sorry, I know it's hard, but life isn't hard and spiritual development life isn't easy and spiritual development isn't easy either. Okay, I got to go and I will talk to you all later. And I hope that this helped a little bit. Okay, bye-bye.